Welcome back to part two. We're going to pick up where we left off. Got cut off there a little bit. We're going to start looking at problem 69, expand our field here, and we'll talk about our next couple problems. All right, we have use intercepts to graph the linear equation, label the points to the intercepts. Okay, so we need to find the points. Now remember, as we went over with our earlier problem, I'm at the y-intercept when x is equal to 0, and I'm at the x-intercept when y is equal to 0. So for this problem, we're going to solve it by plugging 0 in for both the x and the y. I won't create a big table here, but I will be able to solve it. And you know what? We all know that multiplying something by 0 eliminates it to 0. So I'm not even going to write the part that would eliminate to 0 and just make it a little bit simpler. So the first part of the problem says, okay, y-intercept, x is equal to 0. Negative 2/3 times 0 is 0. So what's remaining in the problem after we eliminate that? Well, y equals 4. Or my coordinate is when x is 0, the y value is equal to 4. And that's the coordinate. The second part of the problem says, a little bit more work here, negative 2/3 x equals 4. Well, negative 2/3 x equals 4, I would solve that by using my reciprocal. Reciprocals are like take a fraction, flip it like a pancake, and that's how you eliminate the fraction. So negative 2/3 would be multiply this side by 3 over negative 2. Multiply a fraction, top and a whole number, top numbers, 4 and 3 multiply, giving you 12, divided by negative 2 would be negative 6. So x equals negative 6 when y is 0, so my coordinate would be negative 6, comma, 0. Okay, just going to highlight those so they stand out a little brighter. This one. So I have my solution here, 0, negative 4, and negative 6, 0. That's my y-intercept, and that's my x-intercept. Go ahead and complete problem 70, and when you're done, unpause the video and continue on to problem 72 with me. All right, welcome back. It's problem 72. We're going to take a look at how to solve a word problem using intercepts. First of all, use your highlight tool and just kind of say, okay, you're ordering warm-up clothes for a basketball team. The mesh shirts cost $16 each, and the cotton shirts cost $8 each. You have a budget of $240 for shirts. The equation is $16 for the mesh and $8 for the cotton shirts, and $240 total. All right, where are the number, where the x is the number of mesh shirts and the y is the number of cotton shirts? Graph the equation using intercepts. Same deal. We're going to find the two intercepts for this equation. All right, so I'll get out my drawing tool, and what we're going to do is we're going to solve 16 times 0 equals, 16 plus 8. Erase that. Plus 8. Y equals 240. So this intercept is going to be 8. This eliminates. Divide by 8. Divide by 8. And we can see we can get y equals 30 of our cotton shirts. For 16x equals, plus 8 times 0. So I'm going to drop that and just say 240. And see how many 16 goes in 240. Well, divide it on both sides. We're going to get 1.5. 10.5. 15, excuse me. 15, that's sloppy, 15 of our mesh shirts, okay? So what does that look like on a graph? Well, remember, we're only talking about positive money here. So there's no field here, there's no field here, there's no field here. money's only positive. So when we take a look at our shirts, we have on our y-axis 30. So 10, 20, 30. That'll be our 30. And the other one will be 10, 20, 30. And we're 15, so we're halfway in between there. And this is what our x and y axis look like. But again, remember, we're only here in quadrant 1, so we don't need anything for these things. Okay, 4 players decide they want cotton shirts. How many mesh shirts can they get in your order? You could do that and go up 4, or plug in the 4 for our cotton shirts here, and then see how many shirts remain for the order. Okay, we'll skip that since there's no problem for you to solve there. And next we'll take a look at problem 73. Follow the points on a line. All these points lie on the line. Find the slope of the line. We are going to use the slope formula. M equals y2 minus y1 and x2 minus x1. That's our change in rise versus our change in run. And that's how we write slope. All right, so start out. Choose any coordinates on this line. Could choose any of them. I'm going to select this first 2, and then I'm going to label it. I got labels here. It's always x and y. So it's x1 and y1, and this will be x2 and y2. Okay, what comes first? What comes second? That's all we're saying. All right, to do the formula, I'm going to write it. Well, let's see. I don't really have a lot of space there. I will zoom in so we can use the space a little bit better. And now I'm going to take my 6. That's my x2 value, and I'm going to minus 3. That's my y2 value, and this is my y1 value. And now divide it by our 2 minus 1. That's x2 minus x1, matching the formula. And we get 6 minus 3 is 3, and 2 minus 1 is 1. And that is our slope of this line. We'll get the same slope if I would chose any coordinate, but this one I didn't have to reduce the fraction. Complete problem 74 on your own. When you are done with it, unpause the video and continue on to the next problem. Welcome back. We are going to continue on with, oh, I tapped the wrong key. We are going to continue on with our slope and y-intercept for problem 75. We have to find the slope and the y-intercept, and it's in slope-intercept form. So we have y by itself equals mx plus b. That means m is my slope, b is my y-intercept. So it's real easy when you're looking at it to see, okay, here's my slope, it's in front of the x. Here's my slope, it's in front of the x. Here's my y value, it's behind the x. Here's my y-intercept, it's behind the x. So to answer this problem, our m is equal to 1/3, and our b is equal to minus 2, or negative 2. Now we have to then graph the linear equation. So on the side margin here, I open up a space to graph problem 75. Remember, our b value is negative 2. So if this is 0, our b value is down 1 and down 2. Let me get rid of that other line there. It doesn't look like it really fits what we're talking about here. All right, so at negative 2, we have our b value, or our y-intercept, and now our slope is up 1 over 3. That's up 1 over 1, 2, 3. So I'm right here at negative 1, 3. And then go up 1, go over 1, 2, 3. I can repeat that pattern and get a better look at what the line looks like. All right. That is how you graph problem 75 and use the slope and the y-intercept. You may want to pause that and go back and over it if you need to, but you guys are going to do problem 76 again on your own. Pause the video, and when you're done with problem 76, unpause it. We'll take a look at problem 78. All right, class, welcome back. It's problem 78. We're going to go through that together. This is to use a graph f and g to describe the transformations from the graph f to g. So here's where you start. Here's where you finish up. What has changed? Transformation. All right. If you look at our graphs here, do this in blue, the f of x, remember, that's just like as if it said y. Your first graph is 3x minus 1. Your second graph is 1/3 x minus 1. First thing I want to do is recognize that they're both minus 1 for the b value. That means that part's the same, and that part didn't transform. It didn't change. The part that did change is our slope. Here we have a slope of 3 in the original graph, and our next graph has a slope of 1/3. If you look back in your book, you will see what language it uses to describe the transformations. It's a very useful section in chapter 3.6 because otherwise, if you don't look back in the book, you have to memorize it. Okay, what has happened here? Well, the term for changing in slope from going up to going down, 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 down is vertical shrink. Okay, and from 1/3, I'm sorry, from 3 to 1/3, actually meant by a factor of 1/9 because you would have to really reduce that, multiply 3 by 1/9 to get it to be equal to 1/3. Okay, so that is how you do vertical shrink. The next example, take a look at it. What type of transformation is it? Again, look in your chapter for book for it. Answer problem 79, or pause the video, then answer problem 79, come back, and we will go over problem 80 and 81 next. Hi class, welcome back. Next we are going to look at problem 80, and for this one we're going to have a function of g in terms of function f. How do you make it so it's a statement? Okay, in 80 the graph g is a vertical stretch. Remember that changes our slope to be higher by a factor of 3. Okay, so we're going to increase our slope by a factor of 3. So when I write it, I take my original problem is, let's say, f of x equals x. And now I'm going to stretch it. I'm changing my slope to say my new g of x, f of x is to take that and multiply it by 3. 3 times the f of x. Okay, now that works for vertical stretch. Your problem is asking you to look at the horizontal translation, and horizontal left and right movement. In this case, you're going to go 4 units to the right. Okay, take a look at that section of the book very carefully. It talks about how horizontal is one inside the parentheses, and the fact that when you go 4 units to the right, you actually end up subtracting or adding. Take a look at it very carefully. But rightward movements, you might assume that it's addition, but the book tells you otherwise. So take a look at that and see how you would write the solution for problem 81. All right, that concludes the test. When you are done with that, you'll take a picture of your work, or submit me a copy using Kami, whichever method you choose. And on Thursday we'll begin our Unit 4. On Wednesday we'll have a reminder of our assignments for, I will do a Khan Academy assignment. All right, thank you guys very much. And make sure you turn in your work with all your notes attached. Thank you.